Hey guys, let's talk about value using a pencil. So, when you're drawing with pencils, you have your nice artist pencils. You might prefer uh, mechanical pencils. But one thing you always want to try to do is add value. So that's how light or dark your color is. In this case, our blacks, grays to whites. Now, when you're using a mechanical pencil, they're great for getting thin lines. But when you have to fill in a large area, it's a lot harder all of a sudden. It takes a lot more time. You use up your lead, things break. It's not the best. So instead, we want to work with a wooden pencil. Whether it just be your regular 2B pencil or one of your nice drawing pencils. This one is an ebony pencil if you happen to care. Just a nice drawing pencil. It gets really dark values. So what's nice about our drawing pencil, so if you watched my other videos, we talk about different ways to hold a pencil. If I was straight up and down, that gets me something thinner, but if I'm holding it more sideways, I can get some thicker lines and values with it. So this is what we want to do for shading, practicing our value. So what we want to do to practice value is to use a value scale. So that just means it's a scale from light to dark or dark to light. I like to put, let's go dark on this side and light on this side. So this is just a little thing to practice your skills with a pencil to see how good you are at making your values. The more you do these, the better you're going to be at them, the easier it's going to be to put that into your art. I like to just go with 5. I like to say strive for 5. If you can get 5 different values into your art, it's going to look more realistic. If you can get even more values, it's going to be even better. Think about it. When you take a picture of somebody, it's not just an outline of their face with black lines, right? No, there's so much shading and value that goes into it. So if we're trying to go for realistic, we need that shading. So let's practice. When I'm doing my value scale, I like to start on my 2 ends. I'm going to start with my light one. So I'm going to try to go as light as possible. So a tip to do this is to hold your pencil as light as possible. So I like the grip where I'm just like barely holding on to it. So my pencil can kind of flop around easily. So it's just barely skidding across paper. And I want to try to hold it as horizontal as I can. So that way it's using a wide part of the lead and barely touching it. As light as you can. I like to just use my finger to blend. Then I go to the other side. Let's see how dark we can go. Now again, this is a nice dark drawing pencil, so it can get very dark. I like to start by filling in a majority of it, go in the same direction. Then I'll come back in, fill in the gaps. Then I'll come to my borders. So since I'm going for a very dark value, I want to press really hard. Since I have to press hard, you notice I'm holding it in a more traditional pencil style, like you're writing a paper. This is because in order to get that pressure pushing hard, you need to be able to have a better grip on it. So I suggest this handhold for this one. All right, so dark as we can, black is my soul. Now, I like to jump around. We can do the second darkest or the second lightest, your call. I might go to second darkest. So you might notice instead of doing a writing grip, I'm going to push it out a little bit. So I don't want to push as hard on my pencil. Now, when you're doing these middle values, it's going to take a little bit of practice going back and forth. Because you might draw it out and then say, I don't think that's dark enough. But we want to fill it in nicely all the way. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be dark enough. If I'm trying to get 5 different values, I think that's going to be more of my middle value. So I'm going to go over it again. I'm going to push a little bit harder. So I want a slightly darker value. Again, you notice how my hand is farther away from the pencil. This is just going to help use the side of my lead to let me get a nice smooth filling of the value there. Notice how you can't see individual pencil marks. You want it all to blend together. All right, once you have that one, I like to jump to the opposite side, so the second lightest next. I find that's easier than trying to go to my middle, because I can look at my lightest one and say, okay, I want to get it just a little bit darker. So again, holding my pencil really wide out. See if I can hold it way back here. Gives me just a very light touch on it. I'm trying to get still a pretty light value, but I want to fill it in enough. There we go. Now I can look at these two and pick a value that's in between a lot easier. So I'm going to say about there. There we go. I like to take my finger and kind of blend it just to make it a little smoother if need be. And there we have it, a nice value scale. So if you did this well, you should have 5 distinctly different values. No 2 should look the same. So if I covered up all but 2 of them, they should not look the same. They should look different, which they do. Perfect. So the more you practice these, better you're going to get. Really try to fill in an area completely. Use the side of your pencil, not the tip. And it'll help you fill it in. Then use your finger and smudge. Using value is going to make your artwork better.